Hi everyone, it's Christine. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Scrap and Rabbit. I recently got an email from someone who asked me if I could do a tutorial on how I attach my magnets to my flaps. So I said yes, I would go ahead and do that. And then I started thinking about it, and one of the biggest problems I have with magnets is forgetting to put them on before I go ahead and mat my paper. So I'm going to start by showing you how I do the magnets, and then I'll show you some little tips for other types of closures if you are forgetful like me and forget to add a magnet on a page of your album. So adding the magnets is a very simple process, and I can't really think of another way to do it, and it works, so I always use the same method. I don't know if anyone else has a different way of doing it. So I'm going to start. I want to have a magnet inside my flap, and it's going to attach to this page here. When I attach my magnet, I don't want it so close to the edge here that it's going to show through when I mat the paper, or it's going to be too close to the edge. I want to have it about half an inch away. And for this magnet here, I don't know exactly where to place it because it's hard to judge when this folds over. So I'm going to show you how I start with this side here. Take a magnet and a piece of tape, and I'm going to attach it about half an inch from the edge, and I sort of center it on the page like that. Then I take another magnet and just drop it on top. Put another very small piece of tape. I remove the backing and I just stick that on there, just on the magnet, because you don't want it tape this magnet down to here. You just want the piece of tape on the magnet so that when you fold your flap closed, press over the magnet, and then when you open it, the magnet's going to stay on this side and it's in the perfect position. Then I add another piece of tape like that. And when I mat my page, I'm going to remove the piece of tape before I put my matting on top there, and before I cover this side here too. Now, like I said, often I'm working in an album, my pages have magnets on them, and then I realized that I went ahead and matted this, and I forgot to attach my magnets. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can fix that problem other than tearing out the pages. And one of those ways is, instead of a magnet, I can use one of these little spinners. This is by Tim Holtz, and they're little game spinners, and you can use that as a tab to keep the flap closed. Now, if you don't have these spinners, you can make your own little tab. I cut these little die-cut tabs, these little folded pockets, not pockets, but the word escapes me, a tag. These little mini tags, and I layered a bunch of them together so that it's nice and sturdy. I punched a hole through the top here. Do it better than me, it's not very centered, I did that very quickly. And then I can just use a brad to hold it like that. Now, because I've already matted my paper, I don't want to punch the holes through there that would appear on the other side. In this case, I'm actually using the flap of my pocket, so I could just attach it like this and open the prongs on the inside, but then that's going to interfere with my tag when I slide it in, because I have a pocket page here. So I don't want my prongs to go through here. So what I would do is just take another little piece of cardstock, and this one is shaped like a little ticket, or you can use any other piece of shape that you want, and I would put the brad through a hole in there, open up the prongs there, and this little base will hide the prongs, and then I can use some glue or two-sided tape to just attach that down on my page, and this little tab here will hold the page closed. Now, another neat thing I found is when I'm using my punch, I have a die-cut top note punch here, and for the little base I can make it ornamental, and I just noticed that today, that I can just punch on the side like that, and this makes a cute little base that I could use for my little flap here. Like that. So it makes a cute little base. So I just thought I'd share that, a different way of using my punch. They're so expensive, you want to use them as much as possible. Now another way to keep this flap down is take a little piece of cardstock like this, and I put a piece of two-sided tape, and I'm just going to temporarily tape this in here. I'm actually working on an album right now, and that's not how I want to close it, but for the sake of this demo, I'm going to go ahead and temporarily attach it. There, like that. So what I'm going to want to do is use this flap to close this larger flap. But again, because I don't have a magnet on there, I need some way that this is going to hold this page down. And the way I'm going to do that, first I'm going to start by removing this tape from the magnet I had on there before. Okay. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put my magnet on top of this flap here. Like so. And again, I want it close enough to the edge that this flap will overlap. Then I take another magnet and just drop it on top, because I want to find out which side should be flush against the first magnet, because there is a direction on there. And that's the side, the top, will attach to this little flower that I die cut. I just made 2 layers. You can use any other type of embellishment to do this too. So I'm going to want this flower to attach to this magnet. So I put a little piece of tape on the magnet, like that. Then I put my flower on top, press down, and lift up. So my magnet is now attached to the flower. Then I can die cut another piece of paper, and I form another layer of the flower, and I'm just going to use that to cover the magnet. And then I attach like that. That way it won't stick to the page. Okay, so I can mat this. Don't use too thick paper to mat, because you do have the thickness of your cardstock on there too. So now, when I close the flap over, I can just use the little flower to hold it shut. And then you just remove the flower like that. So again, that's just an idea for when you're stuck. I don't normally attach my flaps like that, but it is a way to fix the problem when you've forgotten to put magnets on. So I hope this gave you some ideas and help you get out of trouble with magnets.